Hello, gals and guys, and happy Monday, everyone. I'm sorry that I'm not able to be there today, but hopefully I'll be back there soon. Today, I'd like for you guys to try and move on to section 3.5, which is on user input. Just a reminder first, though, that this Friday you guys have your practice performance tasks that you're having Carol do whatever it is that you like him to do, and that is due this Friday, so don't forget about that as well. So there are definitely going to be times when you're going to want to ask the user for certain information so that you can then utilize that information. And there are three different ways that or commands that you have in order to do that. And depending upon what type of information you want to get from the user will dictate which one of these you use. So read line is going to be used when you want to access text or strings from a user. And then the other two are read int and read float, and those are going to be used to ask the user for a particular number. Read int would be solely for integers. Read float would be solely for any decimal values. So when you typically ask for a string from the user, normally you're going to want to, or other information from the user, normally you're going to want to store that information so then you can use it. So what we typically do is we set up a variable and call it whatever name is appropriate. And then we set it equal to this command read line because I want to get a string characters. And then in the parentheses here is a prompt that the user will see to know what to input. And here I want to get their name. So that's my prompt. So on the screen, right, you would see this enter name prompt here, and the cursor would be flashing for the user to input their information. And then once they input their name, that gets stored in this variable, and then we can use that however we like. So if we want to print out that individual, the user's name, right, after this line here, we could have the println statement with the text your name is, have a little space there so that it'll look nice when it gets displayed out onto the screen. And then we add on the value of that variable. And this will print out your name is, and what are the values that the person inputted. So as mentioned earlier, read int is for entered in integer values. So again, you typically will want to store that into a variable. And then after the read int, you put in a prompt that will tell the user exactly what to input. And then once you have that information, that variable, you can use it however you so desire. And the same is true with receiving decimal values. Here you want to use a read float command, store that into a variable, and then ask the user for a particular prompt that's specific towards what you're looking for. And then you can use that information, once again, however you so desire. Now, on the AP exam, once again, specific syntax is used that all individuals, all students taking AP Computer Science Principles will have to adopt to and understand. So similar types of commands that you've now seen, the display command is sort of like your println command. This will display whatever information is inside those parentheses on the screen. One thing to note here is, however, that this command, if you have this on multiple lines, there won't be an enter-in every single time that you have a different display line here, unlike the println command. So just be mindful of that. What happens is there's just a space that goes in between each time you have a different display command. The input command is similar to the read line or the read int or the read float commands. And this is just going to ask the user for particular information. And as I explained, you typically want to store that into a variable. To show you an example of how this all works, here's a particular example. So display is going to should display how many droids out on the screen. And this has to be in parentheses because this is text that is being displayed. Then I want to have the user input their information. So into the variable droid, right? I know that's a variable because this arrow. Into the variable droid will go the input that the user types in. So then after that, I want to display, or basically print out, you want, and then after that, I want to display the value that they input. And then after that, I want to display droids. And so what happens, the actual output is, again, initially we'll say how many droids. with a prompt, and then the user will input their value. So I'm inputting here 2. Now, when I input, I have to hit enter. So that's why now the next time that I see any information is on the next line, because again, when I input, I have to hit enter. And then what gets displayed is you want with the space, the value of droid, which is 2, and then another space, and then droids. And so that's how this syntax works for the AP exam. So for today, there are 2 different quizzes. One just general quiz on the code on the JavaScript programming language. One exercise to complete, and then a second quiz that practices that AP exam syntax. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I will definitely try to get back to you as soon as possible. And I also hope to see you guys very soon. Take care, everyone.